This is an alert concerning what's happening after the Hurricane Florence. An area flooding from Florence has breached a dam at North Carolina at a power plant, and coal ash may spill. In South Carolina, there's a new round of evacuations ordered as trillions of gallons of water dumped by Hurricane Florence meander towards the sea. And this is the latest update, updated about an hour ago. Now, this is a picture released by Duke Energy today, September 21st. Duke Energy, gray material that Duke Energy characterized as lightweight coal combustion byproducts, could be seen Friday floating on the top of the lake near Wilmington, North Carolina. The ash left over when coal is burned to generate electricity. Coal ash contains an array of components, and this includes mercury, which we know is, of course, very dangerous to human health. And also other things are included in these ash components. As we said, mercury, also lead, arsenic, and other toxic heavy metals. The inundated basin contains at the plant 400,000 cubic yards of ash. 400, that's almost 500 million cubic yards of ash. Duke Energy said today that a dam containing a large lake at Wilmington, North Carolina, the power plant has been breached by these floodwaters from Hurricane Florence. This is, of course, what they were stating would happen after the hurricane. As we know, the average elevation of North Carolina is only 8.5 meters. That's about 25, 30 feet height from the Atlantic Ocean. Can you imagine? Above sea level. It's very low lying. I had visited North Carolina, Hilton Head Island, and we were there during just a regular rainstorm, and we were flooded and the power was out. It was just terrible. Very low lying. I mean, they have these Everglade areas, these beautiful plantation buildings, with these Everglades, and everything is very low lying. Everything looks beautiful when it's dry, when it's not rained over. But they were obviously warning that the flooding would be a major problem. Now, Duke Energy said that the dam containing the large lake at Wilmington, the power plant has been breached by these floodwaters from Florence, and it's possible that the coal ash from an adjacent dump is flowing into a river, the Cape Fear River. The Duke Energy spokeswoman, Paige Sheehan, said today that the floodwaters continue to overtop an earthen dike at the north side of Sutton Lake. It's a 1,100 acre, 445 hectare reservoir at the LV Sutton power station. The water caused several breaches in this dam on the south end of the lake, which is flowing back into the river. Duke Energy Company officials said that because the river is already running high after Hurricane Florence, they don't expect the breaches in the dam to affect the water level. The floodwaters also overtopped a steel retaining wall containing one of the 3 large coal ash dumps which line the lakeshore. Sheehan, the spokeswoman, described the incident as a developing situation, so all this is still going on. She said the company cannot rule out that the ash might be escaping and flowing into the river. This gray material that the company characterizes lightweight coal combustion byproducts could be seen Friday floating on top of the lake. The ash left over when coal is burned to generate the electricity, coal ash, as we said, contains all these various heavy metals, including mercury, lead, arsenic, and other toxic heavy metals. The inundated basin, as we said, at the plant contains 400,000 cubic yards of ash. The floodwaters at the site were continuing to rise all day today. The area received more than 30 inches of rain from Hurricane Florence, with Cape Fear River expected to crest tomorrow, Saturday. North Carolina's top environmental regulator said today that the extent of the potential environmental harm from the breach is not yet known because it hasn't happened yet. But of course, it's expected to happen. It's still a developing situation. Quote, what we don't know at this point is if any coal ash has filtered into Cape Fear River. This is what Mike Regan, the Secretary for the State Department of Environmental Quality, says. He says, we plan to conduct flyovers to see if we can ascertain that. Now, the security personnel for Duke Energy blocked access on Friday to Sutton Lake Road, which leads to a public dock on the reservoir. It's a popular local destination for boating and fishing. Of course, they had to close it because it's flooding over. Duke Energy denied a request from Associated Press reporter at the scene today to pass the barricade. Of course, the reporter wanted to see what was going on, saying that the situation at the lake continues to change and is not safe. Aerial photographs released by the company showed a wide breach in the earthen dam and the affected ash dump largely underwater. As we see, this is one of the, of course, images of the aerial photographs. Sutton Lake is a former coaling pond for a coal-fired plant Duke retired back a few years ago in 2013. They replaced it with a new generating station that runs off natural gas. Duke said that power plant was shut down overnight as it was swamped by floodwaters and all employees were safely evacuated. Now, this current breach at the Wilmington site is separate from the rupture at a nearby coal ash landfill that has been reported at the site last weekend. It spilled enough material to fill 180 dump trucks, they said. Duke Ash Waste Management faces intense scrutiny since a drainage pipe collapsed under a waste pit in an old plant in Eden in 2014. It triggered a massive spill, coating 70 miles of the downriver in gray sludge. The utility, Duke Energy, later agreed to plead guilty to 9 Clean Water Act violations, and it paid $102 million in fines and restitution for illegally discharging pollution from ash dumps at 5 North Carolina power plants. It plans to close all its ash dumps in 11 years, by the year 2029. In a separate Duke plant near Goldsboro, 3 old coal ash dumps capped with soil were underwater yesterday, Thursday, near the Neuse River flooding. So, the Waterkeeper Alliance staff, an environmental group, visited the flooded area, the dumps at the H.F. Lee power plant. They went by boat on Wednesday and they took photographs. They collected samples of the water, of this gray sludge, and the water, they said, was washing into the floodwaters. This Waterkeeper Alliance group said a private lab would analyze their samples. State environmental regulators went to the site yesterday, though they were not able to make a full assessment because, as we said, of the high water levels. The Duke spokeswoman said that any release of coal ash at the Goldsboro site appears minimal. Well, of course, okay, minimal is, in her view, what is minimal to her could be great to somebody else. But anyway, she said, we'll learn more as floodwater recedes. Meanwhile, in South Carolina, a new round of evacuations has been ordered because trillions of gallons of water dumped by Hurricane Florence are meandering their way towards the sea and going through South Carolina, raising river levels and threatening even more destruction. I'll leave a link below for you for this. This is on NECN. We'll keep going back to this to get updates as to what's going on.